of the faculty, and I am an obstetrician and gynecologist by profession. Nama saya Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran. Saya sekarang memegang jawatan dekan di Fakulti Perubatan, Biosains dan Kejururawatan di Mahsa University, dan dari segi pendoktoran saya adalah seorang pakar obstetrik dan gynecology. The Faculty of Medicine and Bioscience and Nursing is the largest faculty in Mahsa, and we became the largest faculty in Mahsa University when the School of Nursing, which is actually the oldest school in the university, was combined with the School of Medicine and the School of Bioscience in 2019. So this is a faculty that I head now, and this faculty has about 130 staff with about 2,237 students. And of this 2,237 students, about 900 of them are in the MBBS program doing medicine. And of this 900 students, about 30% of them are international students. About 30 to 35% of them are international students, and the rest are students from various parts of Malaysia. So this slide just tells you the programs that we offer in the School of Medicine, the School of Biosciences, and the School of Nursing. Though we are going to talk about the medical school in greater detail, I think it gives us a sense of what we can offer if I talk about all the three schools. And you will notice that in all the three schools, we have degrees that actually begin at diploma level and then go on to masters, as well as in nursing, we have developed a program that goes up to PhD level in nursing. We are very proud of our master's programs in the School of Medicine, and we have a Master of Medical Science in Anatomy, which has already graduated 3 cohorts of students. We have a Master's of Science in Public Health, which has also graduated about 3 cohorts. And then we have a Master of Medical Sciences, which allows specialization in microbiology, pharmacology, physiology, or biochemistry, which has just begun. And we have also started an online delivery of our public health program. The other program that is very new in the School of Medicine is the Diploma in Paramedical Sciences. But by far, the flagship program atau program yang paling penting dalam faculty ini, the most important program is the MBBS program that trains undergraduate doctors. So perhaps the question that is in everybody's mind is, why do we want to choose Mahsa? I think before I actually answer that question, I must first of all say that we are a school that is about 13 years old. The school began in 2007, and it took its first batch of students in 2009. And perhaps it is interesting to note that in 2008, we actually began with a twinning program with University Sumatra Utara, and then slowly developed our own program in 2009. So our ties with Indonesia are strong. It was there right at the beginning of the school, and we are now very happy to have prospective students from Indonesia as and when they may come in. In 2009, we had our first batch of students, and we have since then graduated 6 batches of doctors. And 3 of them have now completed their internship program in Malaysia. And we have actually followed up the progress of our doctors in Malaysia, and we find that 81% of our doctors actually complete their housemanship without any need for retraining or extension. So that is far above the 70% mark that we see normally in Malaysia these days. So our school has done well. In terms of retraining, Mahsa has had only 2 students in the last 6 batches where we have graduated at least 100 to 130 doctors per batch. And of this, only 2 doctors have ever required any form of retraining in a 3rd hospital in Malaysia. So we have a very strong MBBS program. We have a program that now proven in Malaysia that produces doctors that are fit for purpose. Our doctors have also begun to move out of the country. We have at least 6 doctors who have now been accepted into the various postgraduate degree programs in Malaysia. We have about 4 or 5 who have already completed training in the various postgraduate programs overseas, especially in the UK. And recently, we have had one doctor from the previous cohort who has been accepted to do his internship in the United Kingdom. This is a Malaysian who applied to the United Kingdom after finishing his degree in Mahsa, and he has now been accepted. And following his path, this year we have had at least another 3 doctors who have begun to plan to continue their training in UK. So this is a degree that is now slowly being recognized as a degree that has quality and that is able to take you places. So we have a faculty that is based in the Klang Valley. So that's very important. We are right in the Klang Valley, and we are very well connected to the rest of the state and the capital, as well as with good connectivity with other parts of Malaysia. We have virtual campus tours when you can actually see our campus virtually, but if you have an opportunity, I hope you will come to Mahsa when we are out of this pandemic, so that you can really see the kind of campus that we have. We have a wonderful campus outside the capital, of course, but it's a beautiful campus and it is very well equipped. It's a state-of-the-art campus that is completely paperless to a large extent. It has a very, very strong simulation laboratory for students to practice medical procedures. And we also are affiliated to 2 of the largest hospitals in the Klang Valley, which we use for teaching, which are, these 2 hospitals are Hospital Kuala Lumpur. And some of you will know that the Hospital Kuala Lumpur is the largest hospital in Southeast Asia with about 2,000 odd beds. And it is a tertiary hospital. The other hospital that we use is Hospital Sungai Buloh, which has about 800 to 900 beds and is the National Center for Treatment of Infectious Diseases in Malaysia. So it is the hub actually now in Malaysia for the management of COVID-19. Okay. Our academics are drawn from both Malaysia as well as around the region. You know, my co-speaker today, Dr. Ferry, is a pediatrician from Indonesia. Just like him, we have a strong international staff from the region who actually contribute to our teaching. And many of them are academics who have taught for many, many years, both in Malaysia as well as overseas. Almost every one of them has extensive clinical and teaching experience. So the quality of teaching will not be in doubt. You will see later as I present that we have very strong research credentials. And as I alluded to you just now, we have very strong completion rates in our internship in Malaysia. And that is because we believe that we prepare students for a real world work preparedness situation. Our curriculum is very much work prepared oriented. Right from year 1, students are allowed to go to hospital. Though in year 1 and year 2, the amount of time they spent in hospital is less. As they go into year 3 and year 4 and year 5, they are expected to spend almost the whole day in hospital. And they are exposed to ward rounds, they are exposed to bedside sessions, they are exposed to operation theatre, clinic visits, as well as practical procedures as much as we can, so that they are ready for work. Where practical procedures cannot be done on real patients because of the various issues surrounding the profession nowadays. I'm sure we all are aware of the issues of litigation and issues of that manner, which make it difficult sometimes for young medical students to try procedures on patients. We have mannequins and simulation labs in the clinic, in the SPC campus, where students can practice these procedures. We have a research and elective-based curriculum. All students are expected to do research, and later you will see that many of our students do research and they also publish and present their findings in regional and international conferences as well as journals. And electives are a very strong part of our curriculum, and we encourage our students to take up 2 electives. One is a research elective at the end of year 2, and one more is a clinical elective where they actually go out to work in hospitals in year 4. We are very strong on ethics and personal and professional development, because we believe that today the medical graduate that really makes a difference is one who is very, very, very strong ethically and professionally. Our strengths are that we have a continuum of programs in the healthcare and medical areas. Like I said, we have courses that start at diploma level and move right up to the PhD level. The courses are all accredited locally and regionally, and all our courses are accredited by the professional and regulatory bodies. For the case of medicine, our course is accredited by the Malaysian Qualifications Agency and is under the scrutiny of the Malaysian Medical Council. And we have been fully accredited twice, and we anticipate a 3rd accreditation visit sometime next year. And we have no doubts that the complete accreditation will follow. I've gone through this, and I've talked about our strong housemanship completion rates. The other big thing that I'm very proud of in our faculty is that our academics provide excellent support, not only in academic areas, but also in pastoral support. It is my policy that the faculty is an open door faculty. All students have access to all levels of staff, and this includes the deans and the deputy deans. They all have our numbers. They can communicate with us by phone, by WhatsApp, by email, or even personally if they so wish. And we try to address as many of their issues as possible, as quickly as possible. And that is something that I am really, really very proud of. What else do we do? All our students in medicine will complete a basic life support program that is accredited by the American Heart Association by the time they graduate. We are also working on getting our students to enroll in the advanced cardiac life support program. And that will understandably not involve all students because of some of the cost issues, but we believe that that is a very big add-on to our program. Apart from that, students are also allowed to take part in master classes. These are master classes are classes that actually look at study areas that are outside the regular curriculum. And we hope that these master classes will prepare them for postgraduate training, as well as to prepare them for the workplace. For example, in medicine, we have a master class on mindfulness, and that has become something that is so important in our everyday workplace, how to be mindful of what we do and how we do it, so that we get the best possible results in anything that we do. And a new aspect of our program is the professional industry-driven industry-driven education program, or PRIDE, which actually builds soft skills and computer literacy in our graduates. And nothing really underlines that as much as what has happened to us over the last 5 or 6 months. 5 months. In March, when the country went into lockdown and the universities were closed to students, we had to almost overnight convert to an online platform to deliver teaching. And that process is still ongoing today, though some of our almost all of our final year MBBS students are back on campus and in hospital. The rest continue to study online. And that is really what underlines the importance for good computer literacy and good computer skills, so that we can carry on teaching and doing what we do even in a situation like this. I don't think we would have ever thought of having a program like this last year, where we are communicating with people in Indonesia, in Pakistan, and in India on an online platform. But now all of us have taken to it without really too much of second thought. And that is, I think, part of what I'm talking about. Students will attend a university that is in the Klang Valley, but it is not in the city. And I think that is really important for academic activity. But the city is just one train ride away or one Grab car ride away. So recreation is very close at hand. At the same time, the university itself provides for recreation in the form of sports. We have a wonderful gymnasium and an Olympic-sized swimming pool, which is used very widely by our students. And we have vibrant student bodies. The student body for medicine is called MedSoc, and they are an active student body that takes part in a lot of community social responsibility activities all over the country. These are examples of some of the medical camps that have been conducted by the university and our students. And these have been further examples. Student life, where students take part in sports, students take part in various recreational activities. Our international student gathering, which actually highlights the cultures and the traditions of our international students. Some of our health screening programs. And then I want to really just spend some time talking about the research. We have at least 60 publications this year, with a cumulative impact factor of more than 50, with 7 book chapters and 4 books. This is for the year 2019-2020. And these are some of the publications of our students, where student research has then been published in high impact journals all over the world. Our staff hold grants in the excess of a couple of 100,000 ringgits, and these are both university as well as national and international grants. Dr. Pallav Sengupta is a very prominent researcher in our faculty, and he is now a mentor for research in the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio, while continuing with his regular academic job in Malaysia. Our course recognitions for medicine, right? We are recognized regionally. These are 4 of the countries in which we are recognized in. And you will find that we are recognized by the Medical Council of India and the Medical Council of Sri Lanka, the Medical Council of Thailand, the Medical Council of Maldives. We are recognized in Mauritius. We are recognized in various countries in the African continent like Uganda, Nigeria, Tanzania. We are also recognized in parts of the Middle East, and our doctors work as far afield as the United Kingdom and Germany. This is some of the facilities that we have in our faculty, and you can see our lecture theatres, which are quite state-of-the-art, and we are really proud of these lecture theatres. Apart from these big lecture theatres, we have smaller teaching areas where we can do small group teaching and problem-based learning. All of these rooms are air-conditioned and fully equipped with IT and audiovisual equipment. We have 3 computer labs which are used by the medical faculty students for teaching and learning. We also use these labs for assessment purposes, and we plan to actually conduct one of our professional exams online this year because of the current lockdown in many parts of Malaysia as well as in many other parts of the world. These are our laboratories. We have research laboratories which are all awarded good laboratory practice certificates, and these laboratories are used both for teaching, learning as well as for research. This is how our university looks like when you see it from the outside. We have a library with more than 60,000 copies of printed books, as well as subscription to various e-journals and search engines. We are also affiliated to other libraries in the country so that you can look for material that may not be present in Mahsa but can still be obtained from other libraries in Malaysia. Our students are exposed to early clinical exposure. They are allowed to do basic medical procedures. Here you have a group of nurses performing electrocardiogram. These are some of our exchange programs where students actually are allowed to go overseas for the purpose of electives. We also receive students from other countries for training and for electives in Mahsa. And these are some of our graduates. Dr. Kenneth Wong is a graduate from our 3rd batch, and he was instrumental in setting up an outreach program called Helping Hands, which actually went out to the inner city in Kuala Lumpur to run soup kitchens, which serve people who are underprivileged in the city of Kuala Lumpur. Shabita is from our bioscience program. Tishan Gunasegaran is a very prominent person that we are very proud of. He just qualified in 2019, and he is in the midst of getting his master's in business administration in hospital management. He runs his own outreach program in India to serve underprivileged schools, and then he is also part of a program called Global Peace Chain. He also represented Malaysia through the United Nations in various youth development programs sponsored by the United Nations and the Department of State of the United States of America. Kushbu is a graduate of our bioscience program, as is Ranjita. And these are some of our doctors from overseas. Dr. Renifrida Charles is now a family practice doctor in Tanzania. Dr. Sadvi Priya Bujun is just completed her housemanship in Mauritius and is waiting for the lockdown in her country to be relaxed before she can join as a medical officer. And Dr. Candida is has completed her internship in Kenya. And she wrote back to me saying that, you know, that on the 4th day of her housemanship in Kenya, she was asked to assist in a cesarean section. And she really said that that was something that she felt that Mahsa had prepared her to do. Yeah, Candida. So that's my presentation. Before I just end, I was told that some of the Indian audience had some questions about NEET. I'll just tell you what I know. As far as entry into medical school in Mahsa is concerned, we do not actually look at your NEET results. The NEET results are a requirement of the Indian government, I believe, for you to go back to India to practice. We will accept you into the medical faculty in Malaysia based on your Indian senior school certificate or your pre-medical or pre-university results from India. And we follow the requirements of the Malaysian Medical Council. So the Malaysian Medical Council actually says that the marks that you need, and usually the subjects that we will look at are chemistry, biology, and then physics or maths. So 3 subjects: chemistry, biology, and physics or maths. And for an Indian graduate, you need an average of 70% in any of these 3 subjects that I said. Biology and chemistry is a must. The 3rd subject could be physics or mathematics. For those of you who have completed what is equivalent to the O level in India, then another pathway to consider is to actually come to Mahsa to do what we call the Foundation in Science program. This is a preparatory program for science courses in Mahsa as well as other universities. And if you complete your foundation program in Mahsa and meet the requirements that are put forth by the Malaysian Medical Council, Mahsa actually gives first preference to students who have completed their foundation and want to continue in medicine. So that's really the end of my talk, and I think perhaps we can take questions later. Thank you. Mr. Norazli, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I have a few questions, but as you mentioned just now, we will do it later. Okay, all the question. Okay. Maybe we're going to address some specific market like Indonesia. So I would like to invite Dr. Ferry. Okay.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, respected Dean and respected Mr. Nos Azri. Thank you very much for the opportunity for me. So let me introduce myself. My name is Ferry Damarjata from Indonesia. Actually, I'm a pediatrician. I'm now a senior lecturer in pediatric department in Mahsa University Malaysia. Okay. So without any ado, then I will share my slide. So saya Dr. Ferry dari Indonesia. Saya dokter spesialis anak. Lulus dari Indonesia, kemudian bergabung dengan Universitas Mahsa sebagai dosen, sebagai lecturer di sini. Oke. Can you all see my slide? Okay, all right. So it's already mentioned by Prof. Ganesh, the dean, that very deeply, very nicely and wide about the Mahsa University. But I just want to emphasize, especially for my fellow Indonesians and the futures Mahsa students, okay, and parents, why do we have to go to Malaysia? So, number one, what is the advantage of achieving educations abroad? Buat apa kita sekolah jauh-jauh keluar negeri? Number one, train to become independent, because sometimes when we are far away from the family, we feel we have to manage our budget, we have to manage our things, we have to manage our activity, so that become more independent. Then we stay in our countries, okay? And be open-minded, and learn to adapt with new environment. Okay, of course we have to learn and adapt in order to survive in the new environment. So that's the advantage, one of the advantage when we achieving educations abroad. And the other important thing is experience international education system, as like as we know in abroad, different education system compared to our system in our country, especially in Indonesia. Okay, Indonesia, we have a different system. Like in Malaysia, they are more adopted to UK system, United Kingdom, which is compared to Indonesia, we use like continents, European continent, which is Dutch systems previously, and now we use our own systems. Okay? And learn new and sophisticated technology, which cannot find in our home countries. So Malaysia is the one of the country that adopt a new and sophisticated technology. And the other important thing is to learn how to be part of international societies. Okay, and of course, if we graduate overseas, then it will be recognized by international society. So the other question, why Malaysia? Why do we have to choose Malaysia as a pathways, our next journey to continue our educations? Okay. So number one, distance. Why distance? So from Indonesia, I took this picture from Google's Maps. It's only 2 hours by flight. Okay, 2 hours by flight is not so far. So if you're homesick, and you can go back home in the morning and go back again, come back again in the afternoon. Okay, and a lot of flight from Indonesia to Malaysia. Okay, so I cited from Easy Uni, they're from Jakarta, Surabaya. So many flight come to Malaysia, which is more than 30 flights, as well in the other part of Indonesia. So I just take a sample from Jakarta only. Okay. What about accreditations? Okay, in Malaysia in 2018, is already so many universities accredited internationally. Okay, of course, now in 2020, so many. One of the accreditation is Mahsa University. Okay, and affordables. If we compare the cost or tuitions with the same, of course, this is the same qualities. Okay, in Malaysia, New Zealand, Singapore, Australia, USA, and UK, you will find Malaysia is less with the good quality of educations to have a good graduationships. Okay. What about the cultures and culinary? This is very important as well, because one of the things that considerations of getting overseas and continues as a student is cultures and culinary system. We don't want a culture shock, especially this is an undergraduate and still young people. Then it's very prone to cultures. But in Malaysia, the cultures is almost the same. Okay, almost the same. There's a Malay, there's Indian, Chinese, and others ethnics, and they mix together. We mix together, and it feels like home. It's like in our homes in Indonesia. Okay. What about the food? The food, okay. The food, this is the most famous nasi lemak. It's like nasi uduk Jakarta. So you know you will not miss nasi uduk in Malaysia because we have nasi lemak. Okay, very tasty Indian style and Chinese. So many culinary. All right, now we are going more deep in Faculty of Medicines and Bioscience Nursing at Mahsa University. Okay, the history is already mentioned by Prof. Ganesh, the staff as well. We have staff, so many staff and facilities. This is the accommodations, libraries, international community extracurricular and teaching hospitals, and well-established curriculums. The total time is 5 years, more or less like when you do the faculties of medicine, or you do the college in Faculty of Medicine in Indonesia is almost the same, 5 years, and we divide by 2 phases in Mahsa University. Phase 1 is 2 years and phase 2 is 3 years. So the phase 2 is clinical phases. Okay, okay, so I will take you for a walk. This is a light presentation only. Okay, so this is the Mahsa complex building. This is a Mahsa complex building. Okay, so the first time I come to Mahsa, I met Prof. Ganesh, and I think it's very very big university, very huge. Okay. So this is the dentistry faculty. This is the building of the technical faculties, engineering, and other things. This is the magnifying of that one. So this is the deanery. This is a Prof. Ganesh office. So this is the Prof. Ganesh office in the middle. And we also have the accommodation for the students, which is hostels. So this is the female and male. So we separate. So as far as I know, in Mahsa, we separate the hostels between male and female. So don't worry. For the parents, it's okay because each buildings will guard by the security. So tak mungkin lah ketemu. Okay. All right. So this is the type. So this is the accommodation as I know. Okay. And this is already mentioned by Prof. Ganesh as well. So we accredited so many recognizing for international body and the collaboration as well from the university. So if you're interested in the research thing and other things, we have so many collaborations universities. Right? This is the most nice place in Mahsa for me. So this is the library. So I love this place so much. It's very big, very huge, very clean, clear, and it's very quiet. So if you want to learn from Mahsa, in SPC, usually I went to this place. So this is our libraries. So the library is very big. So 2 levels of libraries. This is the second level. This is the first level. So usually I like to go there. I like to hang in there. All right. So this is the in the medicines, in pediatric, as I teach there. So we use some modes of learning with early clinical exposures. So we introduce the students from the beginning to expose to the clinical world. Okay, from the mannequins, and if you note here, this is the anatomy. Like this is like a big iPad. This is like a big Android, and not all of the universities had these anatomical digital sections. So proudly, Mahsa is the one of the not many university even in the world have that kind of thing. So it will be very fortunate for you. It will be very nice for you if you learn this section for this thing. And we learn from problem-based learnings. We learn from the modern curriculum, which we believe the learning from the problems, daily problem of the patient, especially in my field, in pediatric patient, is more useful when you're become a doctor or become houseman in the future. So we use the commonly problem-based learning. Of course, there's a tutors and mentors will guide you to this type of learning. Okay, lectures hall already mentioned. Okay, this is a center for clinicals. Okay, This is for medicines. We have mannequin. We have everything. This is the clinical skills, and this is the pediatrics. This is the pediatrics. We teach how to manage the neonates, how to manage the pediatric mockly before you go to the real case of patient. So this is like simulation room. So we train you in the simulation room until you fluent, and when you face the patient, the real patients, it's really we will not have any problem. Okay. So this is already mentioned. This is my this is our pediatrics. This is our pediatrics hospitals, which is Hospital Wanita dan Kanak-Kanak Kuala Lumpur, or WCH, Women and Children Hospital. This is a part of the Hospital Kuala Lumpur, which already mentioned by Prof. Ganesh. This is the biggest hospital even in the Southeast Asia. So the other thing is, this is the one biggest Asia, the tertiary referral centers. The others hospital for pediatric is Hospital Sungai Buloh. Already I mentioned as well. So what is the implication of that? So you will have adequate numbers of patients. Okay, you will train, you will encounter so many patients with huge variations of patients' cases, which it will be needed for you when you're doctors, especially when you do the pediatric service. Okay, and there is integrated comprehensive management in this hospital, since this is the third referral centers, and sophisticated investigations as well. Okay, so beyond that, are we going to learn only? No, in Mahsa we have a student's life as well. Okay, what kind of student's life? So Mahsa is a music club, this is like Islamic club and martial arts, so many, and you can choose and you can join, and even you can build your career from there. Okay, so the nice thing is, so Mahsa have Borussia football band. This is a Borussia Dortmund as a what you call the counterpart. Okay, as a counterpart, and they have what you call the sponsorships there. So, okay, become a master student, then you become a, not automatically you become a Borussia Dortmund as fans, but you will have a chance with Borussia Dortmund when they come to Malaysia. Okay, right. So already mentioned. This is the pathway. So what is the pathway for Indonesian students? Okay, so Indonesian students, this is the O level in Malaysia. We have SPM and O level. So this is like kelas 12, kelas 11, like 11 and 12th grade. Okay, then kalau if you start from here, from the 11th or 12th grade, then you have to go to foundation first in Mahsa. It's about 1 year. Then we give a matrix, like matrix, how to become
Dr. Ferry?
Yeah.
I think, can I correct you? I think O level or SPM equivalent to kelas 10 in Indonesia.
A level is equivalent with kelas 12. So this is
A level is kelas 12, yes. O level is kelas 10.
10-11. This is a 10-11.
Yeah.
This is 12. Sorry. Okay. So if you go from here, from 12th grade of 12, kelas 12, then you just can start the MBBS shortly. Correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Nur Asli. And you will do the MBBS for 5 years, like phase 1 and phase 2, like that. So after that, from Indonesian students, okay, this is for Malaysian, housemanships and so on. So after MBBS, what we should do is the pathway after completion course. Number 1, you can be a doctors, medical doctors, scientists or researchers, health policy administrators, or you work as business in pharmacies. Okay, but what if I want to go back to Indonesia? Okay, All right, I will go back to Indonesia. Then you have to do the adaptation program. So according to Undang-Undang Nomor 29 and KKI, so Peraturan KKI 2016, that you have to do the adaptations for about 6 months to 1 year. Then you go to the internships, then accredit as the Kuliah Kedokteran of Indonesia will accredit as can practice in Indonesia. But I don't want to go back to Indonesia, for examples. Then you go to the overseas. You can done USMLE, MRCPs, and PLAB, and like that. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible for Mahsa. Why? Because Mahsa is one of the university that recognized by World Directory of Medical Schools. So you can go there. If you don't want to go back, then you can go for USMLE and other things. Okay. All right. If you want to contact us, then this is the contact number, and this is our website address. And okay, see you soon. Okay, see you soon in Mahsa. So you see, this is our students from so many countries and so many cultures. So you can imagine how rich you are in cultures, and as well your doctors. I think that's all, Mr. Rasli. I will be happy to answer questions. Hello, Mr. Norazli.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello, this is Eddie from Indonesia. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I have a question. Because now we are on a pandemic of Corona, yeah. And I think some of unusual system or schedule for a study is, I think uncertain here. So how about now in Mahsa? Is it still normal, or is there any adjustment for this year? Thank you.
Okay, let me try to answer your question. As of now, Malaysia is the movement control order in Malaysia is now relaxed, and we have some partial return to normality already, in the sense that as of July, our final year medical students are now back in hospital and back to face-to-face teaching and learning. And in August, we expect a further number of students to return. And the Ministry of Education plans that in October, all our universities will be open. And classes will go on as usual. So yes, in March we had a partial lockdown and a movement curtailment order, but now this has been relaxed to a large extent. I think we all know that in Malaysia, a lot of us have already returned to work since May, middle of May. So it's almost 2 months now since we returned to work. And so far, thank God, there doesn't seem to be a big, tremendous increase in the number of cases in Malaysia after relaxation of the movement control order. And if this goes on and we don't get a spike of cases, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be open completely by October. We should be open completely by October, unless something else happens. But all this is quite well controlled by the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health in Malaysia. And Mahsa is compliant to all those requirements. But even if there is a movement control order, I think we are now very well placed to continue to teach online. We are prepared. I think we have already done it since March. So we have been doing it for the last 4 months. It's almost going to be 4.5 months since we began teaching online. And I think our lecturers are now very well tuned to that mode of teaching. And the students have also commended the quality of teaching during this period. So I don't think that should be a major worry. I hope I have answered your question.
Maybe
Okay.
I can add some more, Prof.
Yes?
Okay, I think a part of the COVID-19 SOP, okay, I think class will be started on October.
Yes.
So upon student reach Malaysia, okay, they will be picked up by university, and then I think they have to be quarantined for 14 days, if not mistaken.
Yes,
Am I right?
Yes.
That's
As
a part
of
the-
now, these are the rules that have come out from the ministry as of now. You have to inform the EMJS or the body that looks at student visas 21 days before a student intends to enter the country. And then the student, once that consent has been obtained, the student has to buy his ticket. And then 3 days before the student leaves the home country, the student has to be tested for COVID-19. And this must be a PCR test. And once that is done, and the test comes back as negative, the student can then board the plane and come to Malaysia. Once the student comes to Malaysia, there will be a 14-day quarantine, and the student will have to pay for that quarantine. The cost will be determined by the government.
Okay.
I think that is the current status as of last week. You know, this status is sometimes very dynamic depending on the situation, but this is the status as of last week.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just now Pak Danal ya yang tanya. Who asked?
Eddie Pak
Oh,
Azri.
okay, Pak Edi. Okay, thank you. Okay, I got another question from Miss Sobia, Pakistan, about admission criteria. I think we already highlight this thing. Maybe we can repeat it again, Prof.
Yeah, this is from Pakistan, right?
Yes, from Pakistan.
Okay. Entry into any medical program in Malaysia is not determined by the university. I think that is the first thing that all students who want to do medicine in Malaysia must understand, that the university cannot set the entry qualification. The entry qualification is determined by the Malaysian Medical Council. And for purpose of Pakistan, we would require the higher secondary certificate or the HSC or the intermediate school certificate in Pakistan, which is equivalent to the A levels or the HSC, Sijil Tinggi Pelajaran Malaysia, or the A levels. And the student must have a minimum of BBB, ABC, or AAC in chemistry, biology, physics, or mathematics. Okay? BBB, ABC, or AAC. You must get this grade. And that is the requirement of the Malaysian Medical Council. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, I think you already answered it. Okay, and then another question about scholarship from scholarship for new medical student. I think, okay, maybe I can answer this one,
Yes,
Prof.
Yes, of course.
I think scholarship, there's no scholarship for new medical student, but there's this heavy discount, okay, up to 50%. Based on the merits from the first year. if the student manage to get CGPA, for example, 3.75 to 4, they will get discount up to 50%. 3.3 and to 3.74, they will get discount up to 25% for the tuition fee. Azli, is it correct, the info? Okay, that's a question from Nabila, Indonesia. Okay, any other question? Please, you can on your mic to ask.
Okay, Mr. Azli.
Yes, may factor from where?
Saya Mr. Falah from Surabaya.
Oh, Pak Falah. Okay, Pak Falah. Yes.
Okay, baik. Okay, my question is how about the timeline for the admission in the Mahsa, because still many students waiting for the announcement of UTBK in Indonesia. Gitu. So
Okay.
how about the timeline for admission in Mahsa University?
Okay. Maybe I let Prof to answer this question, Prof, about the enrollment. When the earliest, when the maybe the last date for enrollment.
As of today, the schedule is that we will begin our year 1 on the 5th of October 2020. So we expect to begin on the 5th of October 2020. That's when our first year intake will begin. And usually the intake continues for about 1 month. So, and with the current COVID situation, it's very difficult to say how that will exactly pan out. But we will not be taking the first year. Normally, our first years come in September. But this year, it is pushed 1 month further. So they will only begin in October. Because we know that a lot of exams have now been postponed. And even in Malaysia, the decision has been that universities will only begin in October this year. So we intend to begin in the beginning of October.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Hope that answered Pak Falah question from Surabaya. Pak Falah is my partner. He has a tuition center there. Okay. Another question, I think this one I would like to ask. Okay, because one of the our participant is Dr. Ferry. Dr. Eddie Kuniawan from Nunukan, East Kalimantan Timur. Okay, this one for her daughter. So since Nunukan is quite close to Sabah border, okay, especially I think Sandakan, I think very close. Okay, it's only 3 kilometers away. So can, for example, his daughter pursue foundation in science at Sabah Academy in KK?
Yes, provided she meets the requirements to enter the foundation in science, I don't see any reason why she cannot do her foundation in science in KK.
I see. Okay. Pak Eddie, hope they give you some assurance. Any question before? Please ask. You can on your mic. Okay. You can ask Prof. Ganesh. You can ask Dr. Ferry. Okay. You can speak in Bahasa in English. Sorry, I think we don't understand Urdu and also Hindi. So we only accept English and Bahasa. Any question? Hello, any question? Okay. So just now, I think for Indonesian market, I think Dr. Ferry covered very good. Okay. about why you should look for another alternative to study medicine in Malaysia. Okay, actually we're very quite close, and then I think before the pandemic, okay, the flight ticket, for example, from Jakarta to Kuala Lumpur, I think half from Jakarta to Medan or Jakarta to Surabaya. So actually we are more closer, okay, to Indonesian. And then I think about 90%, can say about 90 million, especially those in Sumatra, actually speak bahasa, we can call it bahasa Melayu, another version of bahasa Malaysia. Okay. So any other question, please? Okay. I give another 1 or 2 minutes. Otherwise, we're going to end this session. How about those from India or those from Pakistan? Any other question, please? Okay, I think there's no more question. Okay, I would like to thank everybody, okay, those participate in this session. Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Ferry. Okay, thank you, everybody. Good afternoon and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.
Thank you. Salam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Norazli.
Thank you, Mr. Rashid. Thank you, Prof. Ganesh.
Thank you very much, Ferry. Your excellent presentation. Excellent.
Thank you very much, bro.
Yeah.